All right, and it's Saturday. It's the Freeform Rock Podcast after show. And the Mooger, who's always here, even though he goes on vacation, he always crashes the party. Like, and then we got like the Gerber baby up there right now, Tim Raznick. He shaved his fucking face. God dang, he looks younger than me now. What the fuck, dude? Fucking, you're gonna get all those fucking 20-year-old bitches now.
Yeah. I couldn't get 20-year-old bitches when I was 20, little.
I just said it's like when I saw you today when we recorded that episode, I was like, what the fuck? Like, and I bet you regret that. And you told me you regretted it.
I
Like,
do.
I did that shit too, man. Fucking Shane wants to promote Seven Dust for some reason. Hey,
Because they fucking rule.
let's get into this, man. We got some shit that I didn't fucking talk about on BS because we had a big episode. But Sebastian Bach says there's a good chance of Skid Row reunion. Yeah, Tim, go, man. Talk about it. No?
I don't want to say I told you so, but I did.
But nobody else has commented on it except him. We're not hearing from Snake. And also, I just saw videos, which I sent to Mooger and in our chat group of Lizzie doing Skid Row's songs, 18 in Life and Making a Mess. She fucking killed it.
I think she just needs to be their singer going forward, period.
But she has her own band that's bigger than they are.
Right. But Skid Row doesn't have to do that many dates. They don't. And she can do Hailstorm, and then she could go and do the Skid Row shows.
But they would have to let her songwrite with it because she's a songwriter, you know. The other singers
Stop songwriting, Skid Row. You haven't released anything worth a shit. Even though the last record was okay, it's the best thing you guys have released in a long time. Stop releasing records. Do the legacy thing. You're done.
You're done. They've been done since their second album was released. Are you
kidding? No.
They were done then.
No.
And now we know where you're coming from now, Tim. That's fine. So you're really not part of the discussion of how they should continue because you don't think they should have ever continued.
Well, as far as selling out arenas and sales wise, they were done after their second album.
They never really headlined, did they? They didn't headline. They opened up for all these other bands. They were like docking.
Yeah.
Big deal. They were.
Now, if you're the headliner of these big events, that's a whole different ballgame.
Well, they did headline
if you're opening for a festival, you can't say you drew 200,000 people.
Hey, but they did headline because Pantera opened for them, and I heard stories that Pantera blew Skid Row off the stage.
Of course they did.
They did, but another thing, I just
wait a minute. Which Pantera?
No, this would have been I saw the tour.
Slave to the Grind, right?
It was 1992, Slave to the Grind.
Okay, so it was old Pantera. It was back with
so that would have been Pantera, like Vulgar Display before they went on their own and
okay. Well, what I'm saying is it wasn't the new revamped Pantera.
No.
It went out with Zakk Wylde. It was
OG. Yep.
We're talking about Sebastian Bach, like
all right.
Skid Row band. No, but I heard stories that people said they saw the Skid Row and then Pantera was awesome and Skid Row kind of lagged. You know, I saw Skid Row open up for Aerosmith on a pump tour and they were amazing. But I guess they got a little druggy or whatever.
That's the problem with bands is that, and not even bands, but you can have one bad show on a tour. That's going to happen. You know, your guitar isn't tuned right, or you break a string halfway through a song that's the most popular song, you know, on the planet at the time. It's going to happen. Shit's going to happen. You break a drum head, you know, shit's going to happen. But how you consistently perform night in, night out throughout that tour, That's what determines what kind of band you are, in my opinion.
So that's why
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses sucks.
They suck. Actually, when I saw them, they were amazing.
Well, yeah, you got to see them when they were hungry. I got to
Yeah.
see them when they were fucking full.
I saw them on their club tour, which got them signed.
Oh my God. I saw them open up for the Rolling Stones. I've said this before with Living Color at the LA Coliseum. And that's that show where Vernon Reid of Living Color came out and called out Axl Rose for being unprofessional. Was that
Trouble
that
with Guns N'
show?
Roses is they started believing their own hype.
And then I saw them when they did that at the LA Coliseum again with Metallica, and it was like them headlining, alternating. They were both headliners, but Metallica opened, Guns N' Roses closed. And I've said this many times on this show, like we saw Metallica was great, Jason was awesome, everybody's
And
great, fucking great show.
that's
But then
one thing
Metallica
that-
came, the fucking Guns N' Roses came out and fucking threw out a hairball. It's
And
like
that's
they're
one thing I
coughing
will-
up a fucking. And me and my friend Robert looked at each other, and I go, "Dude, let's go home and fucking get high. This is horrible."
And that's one thing I will always give credit to Kiss for. Because Kiss, once Kiss became went from an opening act to a main act, that's when, and then they started bringing in all the hot bands of the time. They didn't try to, okay, well, we need a band that's worse than us, or not as good as us, because they brought AC/DC first time on tour. They brought Judas Priest first time on tour.
Rush.
Yeah, Rush first
Rush.
time on tour.
Iron
But
Maiden.
they never tried to downplay their opening band to make Kiss look better on the stage.
Yeah, it's not like Sharon Osbourne
you know-
throwing eggs at Iron Maiden.
That I'll never understand that. I will never, ever, 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 ever understand that.
Oh, speaking since we're on the Skid Row thing, Mooger like said he like messaged us in staff chat or wherever he messaged us. He said that new fucking Sebastian Bach album is fucking amazing. And I go, oh fuck. So I went and I got it. And I go, holy shit. This is he hasn't released a bad solo album. Angel Down is my favorite by him.
Yep.
I like Kicking and Screaming. But this is way better than the Gang's All Here.
The only
This
problem
is-
with Sebastian Bach solo, he's stuck in the 80s.
Oh no, not the new album.
His
No.
music hasn't. The single I heard off.
So
of
what's
Sebastian
wrong
Bach
with being
solo-
stuck in the 80s
He's
when
stuck
we
in
have
the
the
80s.
fucking 2000 whatevers right now that fucking suck? There's
Because
no
everybody
good shit
move-
coming out.
Because everybody moves on.
There's the
Everybody.
new bands that are coming out are not good as far and in between, man. You got to fucking deep dive to find these bands like the Dust Coda, the Pinpricks. You got to get in the Smackbound. You got to get into the minutia of these bands. It's like
problem
MTV
is,
isn't
you're
showing
talking
you
about-
this shit anymore.
You're
You know?
talking about the times today. I'm talking about 1980 when
What's wrong with
Sebastian-
sounding like 1980?
when
It's the
when
best fucking
Sebastian
era.
started. His fans have moved on.
Yeah.
But that's
it-
America. America moves on from anything and everything. You go to Europe, you go to Japan, they
Okay.
are fucking worshiping
Okay,
these
okay.
bands.
Everyone simmer, take a break,
Okay,
grab a Gatorade.
I got a whiskey.
The new Sebastian Bach album. Now I love Angel Down, Kicking and Streaming, meh. This new one, look, man, I'm not going into any Sebastian Bach record thinking, oh, this is gonna be great. I don't do it. But there's no fucking denying I put on this goddamn record. You talk about production, Tim. This fucking has got it in spades.
Mhm.
His voice sounds amazing. The guitar playing is amazing. He has a resident guitar player, but you also have Orianthi came in. You have a couple other guys. I think
I love Orantati.
Miles Kennedy came in. I think with the song. So
Oh, boy.
yeah. I'm not a big fan of him either, but
What? No. I am a big fan of Miles Kennedy. There you go.
Okay.
That makes
But
perfect sense.
this
Fuck you,
this song,
Tim.
hey, this album, I mean, it's 11 songs long. It should have been 8. It should have been 9, maybe. And I think he could have lopped 2 of them off. That's my wife and I are in total agreement on that. And you don't, you know, as you said, Tim, in America, yes, Mark, fans, we all tend to move on. I still tend to hold on, but
No. I'm talking about kids today. It's
yeah.
like if we were
Why
I
do
know
born
you
in the
kids today don't
70s
have
and
the time.
80s, we don't move on.
If it's not a 20-second TikTok thing that grabs them, they're moving on. They're going somewhere else.
You know,
And unfortunately, I found myself that way. I don't if the band's intro to a song is too long and I've never heard them, I'm like, you lost me. X.
well, we do this after show. We get like maybe like 30 to maybe like 70 like views of this. But when I do my 1 minute quick thoughts videos, I get like 200 to 400 to 500 views of a minute video instead of a 30-minute or an hour video.
Right.
That's sad. People don't have an attention span anymore. People don't give a fuck. They want to hear me going like saying shit for a minute
But
instead of
like,
me saying shit for 30 minutes.
but like you take a band like Wasp, huge in the 80s, but they understood America moves on. So they went to Europe. They're huge in Europe because Europe a little slower than America. Not
You're
slower up here, but slower time wise. So
America.
they're playing their same tunes over in Europe for 20 years now. And then they just came back to America to do a tour.
Of clubs.
And it was a hit because people 20 years down the road went, hey, I remember that band. Animal. Yeah. I fuck like a beast. Yeah. I remember that song. I want to be somebody.
I saw Wasp twice with Armored Saint opening. Wasp was great. Like closer.
But
the thing is that the
they've
thing
been
is
making a living for the past 20 years.
Can I tell you
in
one
Europe.
thing? I would have rather seen it reverse. I would have rather seen Armored Saint closing that show than Wasp. John Bush, besides Dio, is second best metal singer of all time.
He's got a fantastic voice, man. Fantastic.
He is the metal of metalist singer besides Ronnie James Dio.
I could give you that. I can definitely give a credence. But you know, to speak of like bands we love and are they still releasing, and I'm just glad they are, but I'm just gonna go back to the Sebastian Bach record, sorry, but that's a really great one. Also, when I was in Virginia visiting my brother, he's got the best radio station there. No commercials, no DJ. This plays amazing music all day long.
Well, that sucks. I like being a DJ.
Yeah, man. I'll give you the link. You can stream it. There was this band that him and I kind of latched onto while we were driving around. It was a band called Lines of Loyalty, and they got a song out called Hurts to Be Human. Now, this is a more modern metal sounding song, you know, in the vein of maybe Falling in Reverse or something like that. Oh, but they have a good song, man. They got a good riff, they got a good groove. You're all about groove, Mark.
Well, yeah, I'm all about groove. Take a shot, bitches.
No one's gonna worry about the groove, man. No one's gonna worry about the groove.
That's the thing why I don't like Slayer. You know.
Why you don't like who?
Slayer. They don't have a groove.
Oh, you're missing it then. You haven't found it.
Maybe it's Tom's voice that makes me like not hear the groove. But I've tried to listen to the music. I do like Merciful Fate musically. I don't like it vocally. Right. So that's what Slayer does to me.
Yeah, what I don't understand about myself is I'm not a Slayer fan at all, except for that one track.
Yeah.
But I love Kerry King's new track.
Well, I do, but lyrically, that album sucks.
Why?
I've heard the lyrics; they're not that good.
But it's a solid group. It's a solid riff.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Slayer
I
had
always
all of that, you asshole.
I
You're
always
not
thought Henneman
listening.
wrote the riff.
You're not. You're listening, but you're not hearing. Let me just say it that way. You're like, oh,
Mooger
it's
calling
Slayer,
us
so I'm
out.
automatically
Mooger
gonna
calling
hate
us
it.
out.
Oh, Kerry King comes out with something. Ooh, my nipples are hard. I'm gonna fucking love it. You know.
Hey, I'm not a Kerry King fan. The thing is, I did like that first single, and I don't like Slayer. There you go. But I do like him on Fight
God
for Your
damn
Right
it!
to
If
Party.
you guys are so goddamn hearing deaf, if you don't hear that he just released a Slayer fucking record with a different singer who sounds 2% different than Tom.
That
I was
2% makes a big difference.
And it does. And we talked about that. Yeah,
I was
absolutely
just-
does. But
I
the
was just-
fucking music is fucking Slayer.
I was just amazed that King wrote that riff because I always thought Henneman wrote the riffs for Slayer.
Hanneman, I'm not a Slayer fan, but I watch and listen to you people who are Slayer fans. And what you guys say is that Hanneman wrote the best Slayer.
People, what are you trying to say, Mark? You people who listen to Slayer,
You people who like Slayer.
Man? What am I?
You people who like Slayer.
God damn it.
I'm not
You
meaning
people.
that as a put down, but I always hear the fans of Slayer who say that Jeff Hanneman wrote the best lyrics in Slayer and Kerry King was lacking.
No, they everything was really well split throughout the years. If Kerry was real busy, with life and everything, maybe Hanneman wrote more of the songs. Tom really was never a lyric writer for any of this stuff. He just kind of came along. So it's basically split between Hanneman and King, who would write the music and who would write the lyrics. Hanneman absolutely did not write all the lyrics. Kerry wrote probably the lion's share of lyrics to all this music. But as far as the music is concerned, it was always split between Hanneman and King. I don't think Tom wrote much, certainly not in the way of the lyrics.
So Tom Herrera was just like Geddy Lee.
Oh,
What?
come on now.
What?
Come on now.
What?
Whoa,
Geddy
stop
Lee
there,
and
Tim.
Alex wrote the music. Neil
Tom
Peart
Herrera
wrote
was
the
just
lyrics.
like Geddy Lee.
What? No, Geddy Lee could write better music.
But he couldn't. He didn't write the lyrics.
Well, that's
He
okay.
sang them, but he didn't write them.
That's okay.
And he played bass.
The first album,
That's Geddy Lee.
Geddy Lee had a lot to
I'm
do
not-
with the musical direction of Rush
I'm not
compared
saying
to
that's good or
Tom
bad. I'm just
Araya
saying that's
of
it.
fucking Slayer. No, you can't compare Slayer to fucking Rush. I will fucking fight you. I will
just
fucking
did.
say sue me. I will say sue me. Geddy Lee had more to do with the musical direction of Rush than Tom did
Jesus.
of Slayer.
Tim, you were just stirring the goddamn pot with that, dude.
You
You knew better. You knew better.
He
and you were
calls
just poking
himself the shit
it.
stirrer.
Poking it.
I am the shit stirrer.
You
But-
got nothing on me, bub.
Yeah, you fucking crusty crustacean. You're like the crusty
Just gave me a
crab.
belly laugh. Thank you, Tim.
God. You can't say shit about fucking Rush.
Uh,
You
didn't
can't
say
fucking
shit. I just
compare
said-
Rush. What the
That's a
fuck?
comparison.
The Beatles is the only band that compares to Rush to me.
Nah, Russ is much better than Beatles.
Oh, you're fucked up. But
Well,
I no, Tim, I have to agree with that on that because the Rush they made one bad song, which is Tai Shan. The Beatles made a lot of bad songs with fucking those fucking
are you saying
sitars,
that Rush never made a bad song?
except for
well,
Tai
he just
Shan.
did. He said they made one.
Oh god damn, dude, they got albums worth of horrible songs.
What the fuck are you talking about? What albums?
Yeah, I'm talking like Red Bruschetta, any of this stuff. that came out. Any of those electronic drum, all keys, no Getty, no
Mystic
fucking Alex.
Rhythms was amazing.
No.
What are you talking about?
When you move to Fort Wayne, we'll sit down with your Rush collection and we'll listen to it.
I don't
And you
think I'm
school
moving
me.
to. I don't
You
think I'm
school me,
moving to
Mark.
Fort Wayne. I think somebody's moving to California. But
Ooh.
Mooger's like, sure the fuck ain't me.
You
you know,
backpack,
Mooger,
man.
come visit me. I'll get you into Disneyland, man.
Ooh.
I'll get you into Disneyland. You know, we could hang out. We could go to the Rainbow Bar and Grill, bitch. You know you want to go there.
That is a bucket list for me, man. That's a
I
bucket
know
list.
you want to go to the Roxy.
Yeah. Well,
You want to go to the Troubadour?
Is that even is the Roxy still there?
It's still there, right next to the Rainbow, dude.
Oh, the Rainbow's still there. Okay.
The Rainbow ain't leaving. They just put the fucking.
How about Gazari? Is Gazari still there?
Oh, Gazzari's is not there, man. That is like Billboard Live now.
The same people own the Roxy and the Rainbow, don't they?
No.
I
No.
thought there's both owned.
You know, I'd
Genie.
never seen a show in the Roxy or the Troubadour or the Whiskey A Go Go is still there. And I got friends that play the Whiskey A Go Go. And Michael Hampton and my other chick friend, I can't remember your name. You're gonna hate me later. she just played a show at the Whiskey A Go Go. Ah, man, fuck. Where's my phone? Fucking. Oh, all right.
But we got any more topics on the board before?
Oh yeah, we got topics.
Off?
We got topics, man. I did bring this up on the BS sessions last week, but Joe Elliott says he's tired of people calling Leopard heavy metal.
Oh God, yeah. This discussion again.
Well, you weren't on that discussion.
Was I?
No, you weren't. You weren't on the BS sessions last week.
Def Leppard was never metal, ever.
Okay, my friend Becky Roberts. She's the one who sang at the Whiskey A Go Go last week.
Okay.
But Def Leppard was never metal.
Ever. They weren't with On Through the Night or High and Dry?
They were hard rock.
They were hard rock, right?
Yeah, not metal.
Well, because
they were always like a hard pop rock. You know, they were always kind of like, even when they started out, they were AC/DC without question. And then they just kind of, you know, once Mutt Lang got into their gears and you got High and Dry.
Then they went total top 40.
Right, man. Yeah, they were like top 40 hard rock. You know, I mean, they had an edge to them until Hysteria. And Hysteria, there was no edge. And pretty much since then.
I'll give you that.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Pop,
I love Hysteria.
Pop rock.
I love Hysteria.
Oh, I fucking love that record. It's one of my favorites of all time. But
Women, is it fucking metal?
Yeah, no, they lost that kind of like. There's no Pyromania on Hysteria. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Pyromania kind of had those electronic.
You know what they lost? Pete Willis. That's what they lost.
Fuck you.
Well, and they did, because Pyromania's wrote with a majority of his wrote with Pete Willis, and he had such a good tone, and Phil came in and he definitely did the job, no question about it. But when they lost, God damn it, help me out.
Clark?
Yes, Steve Clark. When you lost him, that was really the last edge they had.
That put all the emphasis on Phil, and Phil isn't that good of a metal player.
He's a great
guitar player, but he's not a metal player.
He's a great musician.
But he's not a metal.
And he's a great songwriter, but Steve Clark knew how to rip that riff, man.
He had
knew how to put down just a heavy fucking metal riff.
Dude. He had an edge.
And that's even what Mutt Lang said. He was like, Steve Clark wasn't necessarily a great guitar player, but man, he came up with some riffs, man. He came up with some songs.
It's like that's Malcolm, dude.
And I'm not even putting myself on the same a pimple on that guy's ass. But when I write, I'm a great riff writer. I'm a good songwriter. I can't play lead for shit. I can try. I can play a little bit, but you know, my main thing is just writing a tasty groove, a good riff, and that was all what Steve Clark was
Take
about.
a shot. He said groove.
Malcolm Young
Malcolm
If I
Young,
could
fucking James
if I could get you
Hatfield.
some of my shit, we had groove, Mark. We had groove.
Malcolm Young.
James
That was his
Hatfield.
whole. That was his whole being. That was to write the riff
The
that
thing is,
everybody remembers.
what I tell people, what Mark likes as the third person here, gotta have a groove, gotta have great vocals, and it's gotta have fucking rhythm. If it
Yeah.
doesn't have, if it has two of those three, I'm okay with it. But it has
Well,
one of those three, I can't take it. It's
right.
like Slayer never had a groove.
No, you're missing it. You haven't listened to enough, or you're missing it. Hey, you school me on some Rush that I'm missing, and I'm gonna school you on some Slayer you're missing. How's that?
That's fine, man.
Yeah.
But
And
Rush,
Tim, you're 100% correct. Malcolm Young was the anchor in that damn band, and he didn't need to be flashy, but that
No,
freaking Gretsch
Angus,
he was playing.
you take the lead work because you're better at it than I am. But
Right.
everybody's going to remember our songs because of the riff.
Right.
Simple.
Malcolm wrote the Back in Black riff, so that was Malcolm. And Angus took the lead.
Yeah,
Malcolm
and
wrote so many of those classic
you
riffs.
know they had that conversation when they first started out.
Didn't need to.
You know they had that conversation. It's like, look, take the lead work, please. I'm begging you. I'm a riff guy. That's, I mean, I can do lead work. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a riff guy.
Right.
I'll come up with the riffs. You come up with the leads. We'll
Right.
make this thing work.
Right. And that's the way I rolled my last like metal band. When we were doing our originals, I would like, okay, man, here's a tasty little groove. Get the drums in.
Mhm.
Actually, I was playing bass, but I would like introduce it to the band on guitar and then hand it over, and then just pick up the bass and the drums would play, and then we kind of get a groove going. We hand it over to the singer and be like, "There you go, buddy. Put a
Malcolm
lyric
Young's
to
one
it."
of the best riff masters. Period.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
there's him, Tony Iommi, and Brad Woodford, in my humble opinion.
I
James
think
Hetfield. So
I will disagree with all of you on that on Eddie Van Halen.
he's not a riff guy.
No,
He's a riff guy, he's a rhythm guy, he's
no,
everything guy.
no. He had good
No?
tone. He had excellent tone.
Dude,
But
the guy would play like songs which had really hardly any leads on it, but the rhythm would fucking like take you to the next level.
I mean, he was. Don't get me wrong. He wrote rhythm riffs that got him by, but his forte was lead work.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys seen the behind the meet whatever it was? Like Wolfgang Van Halen did something. And he's talking about his dad, Valley Bertinelli was in there. That made me cry. That fucking whatever it was about Wolfgang Van Halen behind the music. Fucking great episode. If you have fucking Peacock, check that out. No, not Peacock. Paramount Plus. Check out the Wolfgang Van Halen. The guy is fucking crying about his dad dying.
Yeah.
It's like Valley Bertinelli said about Eddie, that him and Wolf had a connection. Those eyes that they just looked at each other. It's like she said, "I never seen Eddie love anybody more than Wolfie."
Mm-hmm.
And you see Wolf crying about that song. What was the song he did about Eddie? It's like he said,
Eddie wrote 316 for Wolf.
no, he said Wolf said he wrote 316 for my beginning, and I wrote that song for Eddie's ending. What was that song, man? The Distance. The song Distance was
Okay.
about Eddie leaving this earth. He said, my dad wrote 316 for me, and I wrote The Distance for him leaving.
And he wrote that like while he knew his father was dying. but well before his father was dead, and he was able to play it for him.
Yeah.
So that was sweet.
And it's like Valerie Bertinelli said, she wishes Eddie would have stayed alive to see how his son is doing right now. And it's like that woman loved Eddie so much, even to the end, even though she divorced him because he wouldn't give up the drugs and the alcohol for her.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's a misnomer we have to clear up right now. Valerie was just as much into the drugs as Eddie
She
was.
said that. She said, I was taking those drugs with
So
Eddie
it's
at that
not,
time.
it's not
But when I
all
got
Eddie.
clean, he didn't want to change.
Maybe he didn't want to change, but it wasn't all Eddie. It was Little Miss Princess too.
But the thing is, she was there when he passed away.
Yeah,
And so was Wolf. And Wolf
something
said
that's something I
held his
don't
dad.
understand.
He held his dad till he felt him disappear.
That's something I don't understand, that whole Valerie Eddie thing.
She left him because he wouldn't get off the drugs and the alcohol.
Yeah, but then she got remarried. He got remarried.
Yeah, and
Move on.
the thing is, who was there at the end?
She was.
Valerie
Well,
was
wife
there at
was
the end.
too,
His
but-
wife wasn't there at the end.
Yeah, she
Valerie was there. They were soulmates, man.
That's what I'm saying. She's your ex. You know why your marriage isn't good? Because you're still courting your ex.
Huh?
Hello.
I'm just saying, if you
Because they were
guys ever
both
check that
married.
out on
Valerie
Paramount
remarried
Plus,
and Eddie remarried.
if
Move
you guys
on.
if you guys ever check that episode, you see Wolf crying about his dad. You know,
It was his father. Of course he's gonna cry.
but the thing is,
I
Valerie even said
wouldn't want him to, let's throw a
that
party.
Eddie wanted somebody he could play with. Eddie wanted that person he could play with. He wanted that person to connect with.
Hey, Uncle
And
Al,
it's like
what are
before
you
they
doing?
it's like before they made a different kind of truth. Wolf was there with his uncle. He was there with Eddie, and they were jamming in just 5150
Mikey, what are you
studios.
doing?
They were just jamming in 51. They were jamming in 5150 studios. And then Wolf said, we need to get David back. And then Eddie said, write a letter to him. And he wrote a letter to him and fucking got David to come back for
Which
a different
makes
kind
sense
of truth.
because Wolfie wasn't involved in all the bullshit that went on.
Hey,
in the Van
Wolfie
Halen case.
loves Sammy Hagar, you asshole. You gotta give you hate Sammy, Tim.
Yeah,
But
you're
Wolf loves Sammy.
right. Okay.
And Wolf is
Good on
fucking
him.
saying he's happy that Sammy is doing a tribute to his dad right now.
Plus, it doesn't hurt your career, quote unquote, especially in music,
Right.
when you don't have to worry about working a day in your life. You don't have to worry about paying the rent. You don't have to worry about the car payments or life because it's already taken care of.
Those Mammoth albums, Wolfie recorded everything on his own.
I know that.
He
But
didn't bring in musicians.
Before he went into Mammoth, he was in Van fucking Halen.
And you know what? He said in that thing on the Paramount Plus, he said he didn't want to play Hot for Teacher. He didn't want to play Van Halen songs, but Dave Grohl called him up and said, would you be okay with this? And he said, you know what? Give me some time. Let me think about it.
That
And then he came up
hold
and did Hot for Teacher with them.
Hold the phone, because their first tour, Wolfie is the one that picked the set list.
But I'm saying when Wolf went solo, he didn't want to bring in the Van Halen.
Solo. Yeah, I'm talking about when he was in Van Halen. He picked the set list.
But he's the one who brought David back in the band too. He's the one who wrote him a letter to get him back.
We got gazillions
he
of
told
dollars
it,
waiting
he
for us. I
told
wonder who we're
he,
going to bring back in the
he
band. Let's bring
told
back
them
Gary Cerrone. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
he also told them, hey, Van Halen, we tour, we do this, but we don't have an album with this incarnation of the band. We need to make an album. That's why Different Kind
And
of
then,
Truth came
according
about.
to David Lee Roth, according to
Taylor
David
Ross
Lee
nuts.
Roth, Wolfie fucked that up. So
Oh, I mean, you can't believe David, dude. David's an idiot right now.
I don't know who to believe. I wasn't there. I don't care.
But I'm just saying, Wolfie brought David back in the band. He wrote a letter, and Eddie told him how to end the letter to get David back in. So I thought that was cool. And the thing is, he doesn't want to play Van Halen songs, but the thing is, he played it and he proved that he could do the Hot for Teacher lead. He proved he could do Eruption. He proved he could do all that shit. And he doesn't need to prove himself anymore. He could play what he wants. He isn't a Nepo baby. The guy is a better musician than fucking his father. He could play everything.
That's opinion.
That's
Yeah.
just that is an opinion. What do you think about that, Mooger?
I don't know. Too much is being said about all this bullshit anyway. I mean, it's gonna shake as it shakes. And
What do you think about
Wolfie,
Wolfie?
what's that?
What do you think about Wolfie?
Wolfie's
WVH.
amazing, and he has a great way of staying out of the goddamn drama, man. He goes in, does what he needs to do. He honors his father's legacy. Um, he's been very thoughtful for going up and doing his dad's songs. Um, and it is up to him if he wants to do them. And he's been very asked very politely, and he's responded and such. They're like, well, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I do. And man, he's a good kid. He's got a good career going. He's got 2 solid fucking records, man. His dad would be so proud of him. His dad is proud of him because in my life, I believe his dad's looking down on him and seeing everything that's happening. And his energy is just getting stronger watching his boys succeed. And I think it's wonderful. I think Wolfie's great. I'm not going to get into the whole bullshit politics about reunions and who spoiled it and who was wrong and who didn't do this. Goddamn, that ruins the legacy more than anything. Is arguing over it and shitting all over it and arguing over it and shitting on it. Well, Eddie would have wanted this. Well, how do we fucking know? We don't. Sammy Hagar was a big part of the Van Halen legacy, whether people like it or not. Roth was a goddamn giant to the legacy, like it or not. Eddie isn't here anymore. Michael Anthony is an amazing bass player, harmony singer, and they lacked that sorely by leaving him out. That's all I've got to say on that. And as far as the Van Halen drama, just fucking leave it at the door right now, man.
I'll just say this as far as Wolf Van Halen goes, as far as I'm concerned. I give Wolfie utmost credit for the way he grew up not to have a big head. I mean, he's got more money than knows what to fucking do with, but yet though he's about as humble as you get. He practiced his craft. He learned his craft. He's a good musician. He's a very good musician.
Oh yeah.
But part of being a musician, and but part of me being a musician is learning how to deal with the bad times on the road.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you make your mark, is in a band or a musician. Is how do you deal with a club manager not paying you? How do you deal with a concert promoter not paying you? How do you deal with getting the shittiest hotel room you can possibly have? How do you deal with, getting there half hour before the show is supposed to start? You're on. How do you deal with those things? He never had to worry about that. He went from being a kid, being in high school, to being in the biggest band in the world at the time, Van Halen, to being on his own. And on his own with his own studio, I might add.
5150. He is
All
the
the
same studio.
all the contacts you can possibly want in the music business.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was laid out for him. Now, granted, like I said, he didn't get a big head. You know, he still seems to be a pretty humble guy.
Yeah.
He's 30 now. You know, he's
Right.
not a kid anymore. He's 30 some odd.
Yeah.
But it never got to him publicly. Like you never heard about Wolfie at the big Hollywood party, you know, fucking a porn
ODing.
star or whatever. You know what I mean? You just never heard of it. You never.
And the thing, you know, you didn't ask for that. We never asked to be born into what our status is going to be. We don't ask for that shit.
Right,
It
but
just
he
it
handled
happens.
very well.
It happens, and yeah, man, he was handed a lot of gifts and a lot of blessings to be able to, you know, you're right, Tim. He never had to deal with that promoter who didn't pay him. He never had to deal with the van breaking down in Arizona, and they had to get to Vegas, and you know, they didn't have to deal with that, or being paid in the
12
case
hours
of
to get
beer.
the show, you know.
Right. Or having to set up in front of an audience because, you know, your van broke down. That's humiliating when you have to do that shit. But I think he has remained incredibly humble with the blessings and the
That's
gifts
what
he's
I
been
said.
given.
Is he is.
I don't think it's lost on him. I think he absolutely knows that he is blessed to have a studio management. But it is his talent that is getting him to where he's going.
And I agree.
Without question. And I know you're not taking that away from him at all.
He learned his craft.
Right.
He took the time to learn his
he
craft.
honed his craft. He owned his craft. Yeah. Did he ever want for anything? Probably not material wise, but I bet you he wishes every goddamn day he had his dad back. You know.
And that's true. And that's
watch that behind the music.
He'd give up everything he has materially.
That's
and professionally, if he could just have his dad back.
That's the price he paid. I mean,
watch that behind the music. The kid is crying about his dad. He's crying about Eddie.
He's a good kid. I think he's very humble, but he's not like missing a rock star. He's missing his dad.
And missing his dad. He said he would trade everything away for his dad.
And he's not a rock star himself, even though he is now. He's just a dude, a son missing his dad. And everyone was to blow that in like Van Halen entertainment portions. It's just not. It's just a son missing his dad. And I know exactly how that is. So
you know who it reminds me of?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Gene Simmons' kid.
Oh, Nick is so humble as shit. Yeah.
But I mean, he doesn't have to worry about anything.
No, never has.
But he doesn't have a big head. No. He's still very humble. Every interview I've ever seen with him is, you know, my God, what can I do for you? And, you know, I mean, just.
Yeah.
He's got his shit together.
Both Nick and Sophie, they are so grounded. They're so grounded. Shit
together, you know.
And because their dad came from nothing, so he kind of taught them to be appreciative of everything I'm giving you. And don't just rely on me at a certain age. You got to start going out there and doing it for yourself.
And I still say, Gene Simmons, take away his fucking ego. You know, and
he's earned it.
Just get the cayenne wheat.
Right. Yeah.
That man has a book in him about his life experiences coming from Israel to America and what that was like, getting into a rock band in the rock and roll world and what that was like, and then making it to the top, quote unquote. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Whatever you consider top is, you know.
But you got to think like Gene Simmons came from dirt in Israel. Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Literally dirt hut,
yeah,
and then he came to America and worked his way up. Now, nothing against the Van Halens, but they came from a very well-to-do family, and
had to pay for his passage on the boat over to America.
But still the parents made like, well, if you want a guitar, you're going to earn it. If you want a drums, you're going to earn it.
Exactly.
We're not going to just give you shit.
Exactly. You want that drum kit? Here's a paper route.
There it is, man.
You know?
Show me you can earn at least half of that. Maybe I'll meet you halfway, kind of thing.
But I'm just saying that, but they never forgot it.
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So when they got big, it never their head just exploded, you know?
Well,
They're always, I
what do
mean,
you
Eddie
think
was
about
always a
Eddie? I
humble
mean,
guy.
other
Eddie
than
was
Eddie
always a
being
humble guy.
other than Eddie being hailed as a guitar guy, do you really ever think he took that to his head? I think he
No,
was a pretty humble dude.
No, he's a very humble dude.
very
Yeah.
humble.
Same as Randy Rhoads, same as some of the great guitar players
And
of
you know
our.
what?
Well, except for Ingve,
Another thing about Eddie,
I think Ingve took that to his head.
Oh, it went right to his head.
He went right to Ingve's head.
But I think Eddie, another thing that nobody ever talks about with Eddie Van Halen, or very few people, Eddie Van Halen had a car collection that was fucking amazing, worth millions. He worked on those cars. He didn't just buy them and have some mechanic work on them. If he couldn't figure it out, yeah, he brought it to a mechanic. But first and foremost, he worked on those cars. His guitar collection, he made them. His amps, he built them.
Yes, he did.
So nothing went because then all of a sudden, like Marshall came in, not Marshall, but Jackson, and then down the road for other ones. But nothing went out with Eddie Van Halen's name on it that he hadn't already tried because he hadn't already built.
But because he would sit in 5150 studios and he would tear shit apart and he would solder things together and he would make his Frankenstein was called Frankenstein for a reason.
But he would do that when he was still sitting in the bedroom of his parents' house.
Absolutely.
He was tearing shit apart and putting it back together. And is this better? And is that better? What do I think about this? What do I think about that? That's just something he was into.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was never, if he was never Eddie Van Halen, the musician, he could have been. He could have made a living in cars. He could have made a living in the music industry.
He was just creative. He was creative, and that's what it was all about. But I think musicians, like some musicians these days, kind of lack the work ethic. Like if they all of a sudden go on YouTube or TikTok and they get a big song, the next thing you know, they're out in clubs touring. Now they're in arenas. Where was the work ethic, man? Where was your 10,000 hours at? Where was that van travel? I don't know. Wolfie never had to worry about that, but he still has a work ethic, and he doesn't have a big head about it. But this is a very entitled generation. Like, I need to have that tour bus. Okay.
But I'm just saying that Wolfie has never faced the downside of the music business.
Right. And thank God, because his music is just going to endure. And
he probably never will.
He has plenty of downsides, dude. He has plenty of downsides, maybe just not on the road. But
yeah. Not in the music business anyway.
Right.
Downside, like I said.
I'm sure he tried to squeeze him in the music industry too, man. I mean,
yeah, man. I'm just like, fucking A. I'm tired of shit. I'm tired of fucking people talking shit about Sammy. I'm talking about people talking shit about everybody.
You know what?
I like Sammy.
Shut up for a second.
Fuck you.
Sammy, nobody would talk shit about Sammy at all if Sammy would shut the fuck up.
Well, Sammy has shut the fuck up.
Sammy is the one that's doing all this shit because Sammy wants his name out there.
Well, fucking A. You could like Sammy get his name out there.
Sammy would just shut up. Nobody would say anything about Sammy.
But David Lee Roth is talking about Sammy now. So Sammy is fucking reiterating.
I've met Sammy. I love Sammy, but Tim makes a very good point. It was just like, just shut up. Just shut up.
Thank you.
And people would shut up about hating you. I appreciate his legacy in Van Halen. I think a lot of people do. They can appreciate it whether they like it or not. But Sammy, just shut your fucking pie hole for a minute. You're a good dude. You're bigger than having to come out and say all this bullshit. And I think if he would just like take absence from that, from saying that this stupid shit. He can open his mouth, man, about the legacy of Van Halen and his legacy in it. No one's gonna doubt that. But just stop saying stupid shit, man. Stop it.
Case in point, you never hear anything from Mikey Anthony.
No.
Well, he just
You may
say
hear an
something.
interview or two, big deal, but you never hear him talking shit about anybody for anything.
Michael Anthony does talk shit. You know, he does.
Not like Sammy.
Well, Sammy, you
Talk
know, but
shit.
David's been talking a lot of shit lately about Sammy. So, and Sammy hasn't like said anything about it.
Sammy talks shit because Sammy wants his name on YouTube. Sammy wants his name in the interview.
Hey,
But
I
you know
want
that-
this
but
podcast
Tim,
on YouTube too, so
Tim.
I understand Sammy. There you go.
But he doesn't need he never has to worry about money at this point again.
No,
Why,
it's
what
not-
is it? Ego?
It's not money, it's ego.
Ego. Yeah. I still
Well,
love the guy. I still love the guy when he's not talking shit. When he talks shit, I'm just like, shut up.
Yeah,
And then
I'm
same
the
with
same
David Lee
way,
Roth.
Luger.
When David
When
Lee
you
Roth,
get Sammy on a subject, no matter what the subject
right?
is,
No, but
he's all right.
you also have
But when he
Roth
goes
saying
off
some
on the
stupid shit.
tangents about, well, Eddie was like this and Eddie was like that and Dave's like this and Dave's like that. Well, you know what, dude? We can turn the mirror right back on you.
Right.
You know, because he was
Right.
talking shit about when he toured with David Lee Roth. He was talking shit about Eddie when they kicked him out of Van Halen.
Well, Eddie wasn't drunk though. That's
No,
different.
it was a weird scene. Weird scene.
I know, man. But let's stop talking about David and Eddie. We're talking about Sebastian Bach. Let's just get the fuck out of it. Let's end this episode, man.
All right. Love you
But
guys.
final thoughts, Mooger.
Well, I just want everybody to I'm gonna be a hippie. Love is everything, even in hate, there's love.
Hippie.
So just keep it real, man. Take care of each other. You can always agree to disagree, and that's okay, man. And we don't have to like everything, but just don't be a dick. I guess that's my biggest takeaway. Don't be a fucking dick.
I agree with that. Don't be a dick. You know, take people's opinions. You don't have to agree with them, but you don't have to be a dick to people.
Right.
Exactly. Tim, any final thoughts, man?
I will say this, and I will end this with a Sammy Hagar line.
Fucking asshole.
Mark, are you listening to me?
I'm always listening to you, Tim. You know that.
It's really simple. If you want love, you have to give a little. Peace.
I love that fucking album. Eddie Van Halen played bass on that. All right, man. Like, share, and subscribe. Freeform Rock Podcast, After Show, YouTube shit. Check out my quick thoughts that I do maybe 5 or 4 days a week. Whatever I get a itching to do it. But fucking, I love all you people. You guys all rule. Let's get the fuck out of here. Later, guys. Love, peace, and fuck hippies. Later.
Mel